the snow, it's awesome to finally be able to get out.
Mother Nature giving Westville resident Kelly Moore and her friend a reason to ditch the jackets and dine outside today. The two stopping by Central Taco and Tequila in Haddon Township.
We've been going out to eat this whole time, but usually we've been staying outside, but it's finally nice to feel comfortable because it's warm out again instead of sitting outside in the freezing cold.
Central Taco, one of many restaurants adding extra tables this week, with temperatures expected to possibly climb into the 70s by Thursday. Indoor dining still limited to 35%, but a week like this will give restaurants like Central Taco a much needed boost after a tough year.
We still can't have any bar seating right now, unfortunately, which stinks for us. We're a tequila bar, of course we want people at the bar. So it limits us a little bit right now. So with the outdoor dining, it almost doubles our restaurant.
If there's one thing these restaurants tell us they've learned in the past year, it's how to adapt to changing restrictions, but also the weather.
Right now, it's a complete day-by-day situation, especially with not knowing if Governor Murphy is going to make a change today, next week, next month. It's just keeping us on our toes.
And with no idea of when restaurants would go back to 100, even 50% capacity, these businesses are already planning for another summer under the sun.
Fortunately, with having last summer under our belt, now we're a little bit more prepared going forward this summer. Just because we know what to expect, we kind of have a little bit more ideas of what to put out there.
In Haddon Township, Erica Such, News 12, New Jersey.
Culture.
Hi, News 12. I just won The Voice.
Community.
The first shot went into the arm of Port Washington nurse Sandra Lindsay.
Connections.
Seems like so much fun.
It was pretty hectic.
Discover News 12 New York.
Hey, look, we're happy, right?
A new way to see the best of News 12's local channels from across the tri-state area, all in one place. Now streaming 24/7 on your favorite devices. Discover News 12 New York today.
Make a stripe, you can do a solid.
At AR Workshop in Fairfield, the chunky knit blanket class is one of their most popular.
So this is a cable knit.
So last month, co-owners Michelle and Jess came up with an idea.
So we set up this box, so anytime somebody signed up for a class, we threw in, Michelle and I, a chunky knit blanket skein. And we got over 150 skeins for the month of February, and then now we have enough for over 30 blankets.
The blankets will be donated to the Norma Freem Breast Center in town to give to cancer patients undergoing chemo treatments.
I usually go from the bottom.
So inside the workshop today, you'll find this group of women volunteering their time.
I have a long history with breast cancer in my family.
So Suzanne Phillip knows just how important these blankets are.
I did go through chemo. Having a blanket is just a very reassuring, wonderful feeling, especially these are really soft.
I am a 13-year breast cancer survivor.
Which is why Claudia Elmsley wanted to help out too.
Cancer definitely didn't stop for the pandemic, so our patients have still had to come and show up for their treatment, for their chemotherapy throughout all of this, and it's been really scary because they are really at risk.
Around a dozen blankets have been made so far. That means to reach their goal, Michelle and Jess have about a dozen more to go.
It's really a special personal touch, which is really important to us at the Breast Center, that we make it feel as personal as possible because we know that this is such a personal battle that they're all going through.
In Fairfield, Lauren Fabrizi, News 12, Connecticut.
The best thing to do is, of course, have a pile of cash because cash is king. The listing agent for this property says she may never even get a chance to put a for sale sign in the yard. That's how fast things are moving.
It's real estate, and in real estate, some amazing things can happen.
38 Jesse Avenue hits the market tonight.
I'm hoping my phone blows up. I do. I'm hoping.
At a time where almost any home for sale is a hot commodity.
It's a very transactional market. People want to go in, they want to see the house, they want to put the offers in, they want to move on.
But for house hunters, getting an offer accepted can be agony.
We've gone out to see, almost like 70, 80 houses, put offers in almost every time we've gone out and just have been outbid because, they have a mortgage and other people might have a better situation. So it's difficult.
The competition includes cash buyers and investors.
Investors are examining, the apps and seeing as soon as a property hits. I mean, they're on it. They're out there.
If it's the right fit at the right time, at the right price, that's what you're looking for.
Agents say no matter what, don't make a panicked purchase.
No matter how desperate or how much you want to buy a house, never pay more than you are willing to make your monthly payments. Don't be house poor.
So yeah, the big advice we hear for buyers is try not to get caught up in the frenzy. So where will all those sellers go if they can't find a house to buy? Pres Palmer says some of them are actually jumping into rentals just to take advantage of selling in this atmosphere. In Stratford, Suzanne Goldklang, News 12, Connecticut.
Suzanne, the market is insane right now. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining us. Let's talk about those who are fully vaccinated now. What can they do, and how do you feel about these CDC guidelines?
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. So, in reference to the vaccines, we have to understand one thing. Nothing is 100% proven. The Moderna and the Pfizer are 95% efficient. What does that mean? That means that 1 in 20 patients can still get it. The one thing that we do know is the fact that the symptoms will not be severe. Severe is a relative term. The one thing we know for sure is that patients will not be hospitalized and they will not die, which is great. My feeling is the following. Number one, patients can definitely be asymptomatic. Even those that have gotten the vaccine can get sick. Even those that do get sick can develop certain symptoms. The question becomes, are those patients that are vaccinated and do get sick, can they transmit the disease? That's an interesting conversation that we should definitely have. Because with the CDC kind of opening up the doors and saying the fact that now vaccinated people can go and visit other vaccinated people or those that are unvaccinated, but limit them to small groups, the question becomes, what if that 1 in 20 patients that are vaccinated do become sick and do go out? And can they transmit the virus? It is worrisome.
So you mentioned these variants earlier. There is new optimism about Pfizer's vaccine's ability to fight against some of these rapidly spreading new variants. The vaccine now proving to be highly effective against that variant of the virus that was first discovered in Brazil. That's according to a new study published in the New England Journal of Medicine. But the news comes as Connecticut reported its first death linked to the UK variant. So, doctor, what does the latest research tell us about this mutation, and will these current vaccines offer enough protection for maybe other potential mutations that may arise?
Okay, so let's talk about the 3 major mutations that we are aware of. We're aware of the UK mutation, that's the B117 mutation, and we're aware of 2 others, the South African and the Brazilian one. Most likely, the UK is going to be the most prominent strain here in the US. And we know, based upon the data, that 85% of Moderna and Pfizer do cover the UK strain. The South African and the Brazilian is somewhere where there's definitely a lot of questions. We know the fact that majority of all of these vaccines will need a booster, not only just to cover those strains, but also because of the fact that we don't know how long our immunity will last to it. In reference to the death regarding the UK strain, we know the fact that the UK strain is significantly more and more rapidly transmissible than other strains. And the idea behind testing for strains is something that we need to sort of discuss even more, because we're not testing as frequently as we really should be at this period of time.
Well, Doctor.
It was a grand entrance with balloons and applause. 75-year-old Geraldine Biggs is finally able to visit with her daughter inside and in person here at the Nassau Rehabilitation and Nursing Center where she lives.
I'm excited. I want to see her.
Daughter Penelope Riddick hasn't seen her mom face to face without glass or plastic between them since the summertime because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, God.
It was an emotional reunion for them both.
I'm on the inside now. I'm not outside the glass. Oh, you see the difference? There you go. She's laughing now.
This facility was allowed to reopen to visitors recently after meeting strict state criteria, including no COVID positive cases for 14 consecutive days.
Families are so excited to be able to come in to see their loved ones, not through a glass, not through a window, or not through FaceTime,
to be able to come in and reconnect on that personal level really makes it so amazing.
Visitors do have to schedule an appointment, and they're limited in time. Strict COVID safety protocols are still being followed. That includes a rapid test here on site, a temperature check, and a questionnaire. Penelope says it's all worth it, though, and her mom seems to agree.
Are you happy to see your daughter? Yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm happy.
Now, at this point, these visits are still socially distanced. That means so far, no touching or hugging allowed.
Until then, if this is what we got to do, this is what we got to do.
And while it may not seem like enough, Penelope says it's enough for now. On the Health Beat, I'm Sherry Einhorn, News 12 Long Island.
Yeah, it's called the American Rescue Plan Act, and it includes a provision that enhances that child tax credit, giving parents more money per kid. It also makes sure that you don't have to wait until next year's tax season to get the money. You could start seeing it in increments in your pocket by this summer. The federal government is working out the latest $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, which includes big changes to the existing child tax credit. Right now, parents can get a credit up to $2,000 per child under 16. The proposal increases that to $3,000, with kids under 6 eligible for $3,600 each. 17-year-olds are now also included. New Jersey accountant Joe Petroselli.
I always thought it should be 17 because most people don't leave our house until 18 to go to school.
Another change, how and when you get that money. Normally, it would be part of your once-a-year tax refund. Under the stimulus bill, parents would get half in advance through monthly installments starting in July. The other half would be claimed on 2021 tax returns.
Anytime we get the ability to get money back earlier is always a better thing financially.
The enhanced credit is income-based and would start to phase out for individuals earning more than $75,000 a year or $150,000 for those married and filing jointly.
Not that nervous because I've been doing it for so many years. I'm kind of used to it.
Some pre-competition confidence from a 15-year-old who's no stranger to the stage. Olivia McCord took her first ballet class at just 2 years old. By 6, she was dancing competitively. But a typical teenage growth spurt almost stunted her dreams.
I went to the doctor and then they told me that I had scoliosis. I had to wear a brace for 6 months, every single day for 20 hours a day.
The Brooklynite only took it off during her 3+ hours of dance lessons every day. But the brace wasn't helping long term. Surgery was the next step.
I was scared that I was never going to be able to dance again.
Spinal fusion is a biological welding together. We get an excellent correction, but the spine is stiffened. So some patients will lose flexibility.
Dr. Baron Lahner at Mount Sinai Hospital is one of about a dozen surgeons worldwide who can perform what was, in 2019, a newly approved procedure, spinal tethering. Right after dancing at Nationals that year, Olivia had the operation.
We place the screws, and then we connect them with a flexible cord. It's like a rope. But aside from the fact that it provides and maintains flexibility for the patient, the recovery is really quite much faster.
Oh, it's getting better. 6 weeks after surgery, Olivia was back in the studio. Before she could get back to competing, the pandemic hit, and she was diagnosed with COVID-19. Last September, she was finally able to return to the stage, even performing a solo. This Saturday, she'll kick off 2021 with another competition, heading to Long Island with her team at Dance House of Brooklyn.
I just know to never give up because I was thinking about like, oh, I'm just going to stop dancing like after this, like it's not going to be anything, but I did not give up and I am dancing again.
Arthur Avenue is rich with Italian history and, of course, delicious food. As we celebrate Women's History Month, we are taking a look at the leading lady behind a restaurant that's been on the block for over a century. News 12's Marissa Marcelino with her story.
I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. 101 years we're here, and
I hope to be here another 101 years.
Regina Meliucci Delfino is the 5th generation of her family to run Mario's on Arthur Avenue, which originally started as a pizzeria back in 1919 by her great-great-grandmother.
It's been in our family for so long, and it's a piece of our life and history. I would never let this go. No, I refuse. Even with COVID, I'm not standing down.
She sadly lost her father, Joseph Miliucci, who ran the restaurant and who she worked with side by side for years, to the coronavirus in April. And now, with that fighting spirit, she's running the show.
The business was started by a woman, and now I'm the next in line. It took a woman to start it, and I'm going to be here to finish it.
While the pandemic has brought on many challenges, she's looking forward to carrying on the family tradition and sharing some great experiences with her customers.
He taught me everything there is to know. Treat them like as if they were your own family coming into your home, because this is our home.
Marissa Marcelino, News 12.
The cost of food, this helps 100%.
Let me know which one you want.
Without a doubt.
Retired Greenberg school bus driver Richard Lewis knows hunger.
Years ago, I went to bed, me and my sister, on a sandwich. And that was the best Mom could do.
Lewis, one of dozens of people in need, waiting patiently outside the Salvation Army offices in Tarrytown Tuesday for a delivery of food from Feeding Westchester. What he gets here helps to offset what he can't afford at the supermarket.
It's a big help, not just for me, but for the community.
A community struggling more than ever because of the pandemic.
A lot of our clients are undocumented and they don't have access to social services. So the dependence upon a food pantry is paramount right now.
The Salvation Army Greater New York Division has served more than 7 million meals since the start of the COVID-19 outbreak last March. In 2019, it was about half that number.
It's really tough, but everybody's helping out. All the New Yorkers and community are involved and engaged in making sure we assist everybody.
Richard Lewis grateful that assistance is there in his time of need. In Tarrytown, Michelle Brown, News 12.
You know, it's because of her that I have hope, that I'm able to turn negative situations around because she taught me to be positive.
This month marks 1 year.
It's been hard. I miss her as much. She was my best friend.
Since Makita Watkins lost her mother to COVID-19.
I didn't realize how much important she was to me and so many others, just her life, her presence.
Mary Stokes lost her battle with the coronavirus on March 25th of last year, just 1 week after the state closed down everything to slow down the spread. Now 1 year later, the virus has claimed over 500,000 lives
I know
and counting.
You know, who I am, where I am, because of her. Because she was a strong, woman.
Her daughter describes her as a warm, loving spirit everyone gravitated towards. She was also a single mom who sacrificed to send Watkins to private school. The mom and daughter were incredibly close.
It never felt real. It still doesn't feel real. It just feels like a thief in the night came.
The only child now cherishing photos, memories, and final words.
She told me she loved me. I told her I love her.
Now, even as communities get back to normal,
I would give anything to have another conversation with her.
For this family,
It's
life
just so unfair.
will be anything but. In West Nyack,
Sorry.
that's Cephalou.
You can take a minute if you want.
News 12.
For best friends Patrick Celestin and Dave Gashlin, owning their own business was a dream. That dream became reality, but not after a few tough spots.
Burned up. The entire basement looked like charcoal, looked like ash, basically. So they deemed there was like structural integrity issues with the building.
Vanity Beauty Bar was supposed to open in 2018, but a fire delayed that. When they were finally recovered from the fire, the pandemic hit.
The business is suffering. We can't get the right amount of clientele in here. And then on top of that, we can afford to have a manager on staff.
Finally opening mid-pandemic in August of last year, they've pushed through and even had some bright spots. Facebook, which committed $200 million to help struggling Black-owned businesses, awarded the nail salon a $2,000 grant.
We were able to get so much PPE equipment with it. It helped us with some of like the back debts that we had.
We were running on gas fumes, and the money just helped us get what we needed to get done in order to open up.
It was much needed relief for the pair born and raised here in Brooklyn. They invested so much of their own money and sacrificed time with their loved ones to make this happen.
The mission statement for Vanity was to create a safe haven for women to be themselves, a place where they can come, relax, and leave with feeling good about themselves.
Today, still dealing with the effects of the pandemic, but their advice to other small business owners is to push forward.
Show up, hold yourself accountable, no excuses.
In Flatlands, Arnold Davik, News 12.
The need has been increased.
That need very visible in this South Bronx community of Melrose. The line outside the Salvation Army stretching down the block, around the corner, and then some, an hour before the pantry even opened its doors to the public.
It helped a lot, especially for those that cannot be going out to buy groceries or don't have enough money.
The Salvation Army Greater New York Division, which includes Westchester County and Long Island, estimates about 7 million meals have been given out to families still struggling a year into the pandemic.
Things are very expensive. And at least, once a month, we're able to survive.
According to the organization, it has served more than 50,000 people in the Bronx. The number more than doubling in Brooklyn to more than 133,000 Brooklynites getting help through the Salvation Army's food pantry.
At the beginning of the pandemic was the need for food, and then the need increased for some other services.
Like baby formula, diapers, clothing, and rent assistance. The mayor says during the earlier months of the pandemic, the Bronx pantry struggled with scarce food shelves. But he says the organization has been able to maintain its services to help those struggling to put food on the table.
We do the best in our effort to help.
Have a good day, sir. The Salvation Army also provides hot meals to the community on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Reporting from East 159th Street, Carmen Grant, News 12.